You are live. I think we are live.
How we doing? I
This,
am Adam Fellers.
and I'm Zach Bogle from Stalemates. Thank you
Uh,
for tuning in to the Pin Doctors I Think We're Live show. To start out, I want to say first and foremost, I don't want to say most importantly because that kind of makes me look like Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge, but if you are tuning in and you like what you see and you want to see more in the future, please send stars. Um, I'm right on the cusp of having to live in a van down by the river at this point. If you guys have been following my recent drama, not drama, but just I'm broke. So send some stars if you want to keep the show going. The person that sends the most stars will get a free T-shirt. And to those of you who have already won free T-shirts, I'm gonna select one day that's coming in the near future to just send them all away. So don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm at a point in my life where postage is kind of a big deal to me. You ever been there, Marshall?
support the Pin Doctors. Let's do it.
Yeah. So send some stars or throw something at my Venmo, and I promise to God when I get this all freaking square, I'll never ever hassle anybody about this again. And in fact, I don't know. It's just much appreciated. Much appreciated. I've got $30 in my account.
More than I got in mine. Mine's negative.
I mean, it's just like one, you know, I had this all set up to where I'm like, I think if I quit my job now, I can have this ready to go. You know, or like you know, I feel like if I quit my job in like October or September, like I did, I felt like if I was gonna give myself until about right now to get things squared away and set up monetization wise, and I was cruising. I mean, I was like a couple $1,000s ahead of where I thought I was, and then a car trouble hit me, and that has set me back. So now I'm on the job hunt, and I'm also begging for stars on my Facebook live shows. That's how I'm getting by. That's how I'm supporting my family. So if you have it in your heart to do that, then please, it'd be very much appreciated.
Stars, stars, stars.
I mean, I'm getting to a point where I'm on the verge of putting everything I post in the subscription section. I mean, nobody would read it, so it defeats the purpose, but I've got to figure something out. Also, if anybody, I posted something earlier and I've got about 100 PMs to respond to. But if anybody knows of any job openings and whatnot, then please hit me up in my comment section or PM me. All right, I'm here with the man, the myth,
Uh,
the Stay Puffed, Marshmallow Cookie.
how we doing, everybody?
Marshall is a former Iowa State Cyclone for about a season, right?
Yep, 1 year.
And was a four-time top 3 high school state placer, a two-time state champ, and
Yep.
a 3-time state finalist.
Yep.
From Akron-Westfield.
Akron.
You consider yourself Northwest in that's Sioux region, right?
Yeah, that would be Northwest Iowa, north of Sioux City. So,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Now you moved to Eastern Iowa City to be specific. You spend all your time in Southeast Iowa, where I'm at.
Yeah, I do spend a lot of time down here out in the timber, hunting, fishing.
It's kind of like an undiscovered little heaven, isn't it? Like a little paradise.
Yeah, it's nice down here around the Mississippi River and just, being able to get outdoors and do the things I like to do.
What do you like to do?
Oh, fishing, hunting, outdoors,
Hey, girls!
camping,
I'm live.
wrestling, coaching wrestling. It's, that's probably the big one. But, we always got to get away from it and decompress from life. So that's the way I do it, is fishing and hunting and going off grid every now and then. So
Okay, so for all of you guys that are out there listening right now, I want you guys to tell me how we're coming in on the microphone. I'm sure you guys can probably see us fine. We probably are looking at the same thing right now. I like this little lighting setup. What do you think, Marshall?
I think it looks good.
Cool. What do you call that? Dramatic cool or whatever on the filter. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm known to talk kind of quiet, so you just gotta say something if you guys can't hear us or hear me when I speak, or pronunciate my words. My wife tells me I'm a mumbler, so So
Yeah, I've heard that quite a few times in my life as well. So good luck trying to get through, trying to shuffle through all the mumbling. And while you're at it, let us know if you can hear us all right in our speakers. I may have to do some tweaking. Right now, we're using the screen cam for the microphone, and I want to get to a point where we're using some of my actual microphones, but I can't afford a splitter at the moment. They're like $5.
I know it is unfortunate. You can see Josh too well, huh? That's funny.
Yeah, we'll get to some comments here. We'll check those periodically. Hey, this Evan Amdahl, he was a state placer out of Independence, I believe, in the 80s.
Okay.
Hell of a fisherman.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You gotta like those fishermen.
All right, say, man, so they can hear us loud and this. I tell you what, this screen camera right here, I don't know what brand it is, CP something, but it's great. It's great. If they want to do some advertising, I mean, you know, they want to do some advertising here. I don't charge much. What's up, Craig Bonsack? His nephew Braden Bonsack won 2A 106 this year.
Oh, there you go.
And speaking of 2A and lightweights, Akron-Westfield had a state champ at 2A 113.
Yeah, the Morrow kid.
Yeah, Cale Morrow.
Yep.
Who's he related to? There was a Travis Morrow from in the 90s that was pretty good. Was he like Okoboji or something?
I'm not sure what the relationship is there. I know his dad, Chad Morrow. That's all I know for the Morrows. I know his dad wrestled, I think, northern Minnesota, maybe, is what, if I remember right, and now he's DNR up there in Plymouth County, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty good people. You can't get mad at them for nothing. So.
All right. So now, for those of you who are listening right now who know Marshall, or maybe you don't know him, but you want to pick his brain a little bit about wrestling, or just pick his brain about whatever, shoot the shit about some memories and stuff. I'm gonna post the link to where you can call in and talk to us right here. I never even bring up the possibility that somebody wants to talk to me. I figure they hear enough of me, hear and see and read enough.
I probably have to say most recently I'm probably known for my showmanship with referees and the coaching corner. I do a pretty good job of bantering the refs, and I know they enjoy it. So
is it like bantering in a good way?
No.
Oh.
It's getting better though.
Have you ever thought about getting your cert? It'd be a good little part-time job during the winter time.
I should get certified, become a good ref. There's a lot of rules out there. You think coming up and wrestling, even in high school at the level I did and at college. There's a lot of things you just really don't know that refs are really looking for, and it's really humbling when you really start looking at the rules and wanting to understand why things are called the way they are. And there's a lot going on there for a ref, and I try and keep it under cool, but it's not always the case. But they got a tough job to do, a lot of things to watch in high school wrestling. So
do you find that you're a little bit like me in regards to I generally don't ever complain or argue with an official since I don't have my certification. And a guy named Adam Hargrave set me straight on this, actually. I remember I got real mad at a call that Shea had in Quincy in like 2016, and I was so mad that I wrote about it on the Predicament. I wrote about it on Facebook, and everybody that knew anything about me knew that I was mad at this referee. Yeah. And Adam Hargrave, I want to say he PM'd me instead of just humiliated me publicly in the comment section. But he PM'd me and was like, dude, he's like, there's a lot of things that people get upset with officiating where they're not actually, if they knew the rule book and they followed the rules and they memorized them, knew them like the back of their hands like these referees do,
yeah,
they'd understand that they're not actually mad at the ref as much as they are the actual rules themselves that they have to enforce.
And that's the truth too, because over time, over the last 8 years since I've been coaching, at first I'd get angry, but then the last few years I tried to calm down, and if I kind of blow out, I'll always go talk to the ref, apologize, and try and talk about the rules. And it really is, a lot of times it's the rules. If they would just switch high school over to college rules, it would make everybody's lives so much easier. Refs coaches, wrestlers, you know.
What about some of the what about like the 4-point near falls and the riding time?
I think riding time would be great in
I
high
love
school.
it. I love riding. Like I said, I'm a big top work guy.
And you know, speaking of Adam, he is, you know, I talk to him a lot. He's a great guy to pick his brain on the rules, and I always talk to him and gives me advice, or he'll answer my questions really well. And
Hell, a Greco wrestler too, huh?
yeah, and you know, I actually looked. I think he was in one of my brackets in high school.
We can look at that right now, actually.
And but and if you guys are, you can always download the rule book on your phone. That's how I got the rule book on my phone, and there's actually two books that come with it, and it's actually the book, and then it's like a scenario book where you can type in like the position or whatever, and it'll kind of bring up the situation. So that's a good tool to have on hand. So, and I try to reference that as much as I can after talking with refs, and you know, the more educated we are as coaches and refs, you know, the better we'll be as a culture.
You had Travis Hargrave in your bracket.
Okay.
That's his little brother. You see, Adam Hargrave and Travis Hargrave, they're local kids for me. And they're, I was 2001, and I want to say Adam was 2005 or 6, maybe. I don't know. Travis and Adam were like these kids that I remember watching when I was like in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. That when you'd watch these little peewees, you know, most of the time you can't really tell anything. You know, if they're going to be good in the future. I mean, like, because they're so young.
Right.
But there were ones where you saw them, and you knew that they were going to be good someday. I mean, and Adam, I remember Adam a little bit more than I remember Travis. I was getting a little older when Travis was a kid, but Adam was a very diligent student from like the age of 5. I remember him like sitting down by the mat and like critiquing matches that you see. It was like just beyond watching it. You could tell that he was like studying it. And he was just like a little brain. But he was I'd say in his graduating class, I don't know if there's anybody better in Southeast Iowa than him. He was pretty damn good. Adam Hargrave, if you're watching, much love, buddy. To all of you guys that are sending stars, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's get back to this. But yeah, we got plenty to talk about today. I've got a ton of slides and pictures. If we run out of stuff to talk about, I've got them all set up. I'm sure it'll spark some sort of conversation. Marshall will probably be on the show a lot because he's in Minneapolis a lot and we fish a lot. He's going to be on the show a lot. So get used to this mug. You know, about time somebody brought some sexy in this house, right?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I need a haircut. My wife is punishing me right now for shaving, I think, so she won't cut my hair. You know, I married a cosmetologist and she won't cut my hair. I don't know what the dilemma is there.
Oh, your wife's a cosmetologist?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. And I'm actually doing a bunch of asphalt work right now down in Burlington, so that's what brings me down here now. And it's been some pretty long days the last couple of days, so I'm making an asphalt approach for a business down here. You know, putting in 20 tons of asphalt for them to help them get rid of their gravel and water drainage issue. So.
And your asphalt company is called?
MK Asphalt, but it is actually going under a rebranding right now, and it's going to turn into Asphalt Repair TR, as in like travel, and it's kind of like a separate company off of my uncle's company that he started, Asphalt Repair Service in Iowa City, and then my cousin Justin Koethe is starting Asphalt Repair Des Moines. So will be 3 different companies, all similar, but started by my uncle, and then the Des Moines or the Iowa City branch, Asphalt Repair Service. If anybody knows Elijah Sullivan, he's going to be running that company. I don't want to call them branch because they are their own corporations, all 3 separate. And so
I need to get him on the show. He's one of the nicest dudes you'll run into. I hit it off really good with Elijah. Oh, what was I going to say? And hell of a wrestler himself. He was a state finalist
Yep.
was he a state finalist for Lewis Central or Iowa City West? Because I want to say he transferred to Iowa City West from
Yep.
Council Bluffs, Lewis Central, like halfway into his high school career or something, didn't he?
Somewhere in there, and then he lived with my uncle and my cousin there for the last 2 or 3 years of his high school career.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How did he end up in Iowa City, anyways?
Who knows? I have no idea. Who knows with Elijah? He probably just wandered into town barefoot, a stick in a bag over his shoulder, and
Gotcha.
what a very smart kid, hardworking. So
Laid back.
very meticulous with his work. So don't be scared to reach out to him if you guys have any asphalt work needed in Iowa City, Cedar Rapids area. So great reputation behind that company and all of us. You know, probably think 30 years of asphalt repair. You know there. So
coming from the Northwest, we were on this note when we first started, and it kind of made me think about it again with Elijah going from Southwest and Council Bluffs to Iowa City. So you went from Northwest Sioux region to, I mean, if you consider that Northwest, but to
it is.
Iowa City. So you went from Northwest to Southeastern region. How would you compare? We're going to compare and contrast the two regions, and we're not going to say one's better than the other.
I will. I'll
you
be
know,
honest.
But in terms of like fishing, wildlife, stuff like that, in Northwest Iowa, how would you compare that to the region that you're part of now?
Oh, I'd say the catfishing by far is superior in the Missouri and the Big Sioux River. I probably shouldn't be telling people, but the Big Sioux River is kind of like a hidden gem for flatheads, and then you get some really big blue catfish in the Missouri River right there in Sioux City. If he's not a wrestler, but if you reach out to him, his name is Brian Kuhn. Lives in Sioux City, works at Wells Blue Bunny Ice Cream. He is the fishing legend of Sioux City. So he's catching 100-pounder blue cats all the time. So he's the man.
I actually am in on this Big Sioux River catfish little jewel of the earth. I've actually known about that for a couple of years now. You know who filled me in on that?
Who?
Jared Henrik.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that, like, for those of you who know me and my family, they're probably like, wow, I wonder if Akron-Westfield, I wonder if he's related to John Henrik. John Henrik and my brother Brennan met in the finals when my brother Brennan was a senior and John was a junior. John was a 3-time state champ in Iowa. He never lost one single match in the state of Iowa after he moved here as a sophomore. I want to say he got 3rd at state in South Dakota when he was a freshman. But then he transferred to Iowa, never lost a match. And I want to say his best match he ever had was the finals match with my brother, back and forth 8-7 match. And this is before I actually knew Marshall or any of the Akron-Westfield people. They're great. Is it Akron?
It's Akron.
Yeah.
Akron. And it's Henrich.
I've been saying it wrong to you all these years, and you've never corrected me.
You
probably just like
let people talk the way they want to talk. There's no.
Yeah.
Henrich and Akron.
Henrich.
And Akron.
Well, let's get this straight. Henrich.
And they actually run
my mind is blown.
They run a really cool catfishing tournament up there, the Skilly Slam. It's for a really good cause. If you guys, are into that type of stuff and wanting to fish some different areas, the Skilly Slam's a really good tournament to get into. I can't remember who runs it. If it's Jared Henrich, Troy Helmrich. It'd be some guys to reach out to that would know a lot about it.
I think there's like a trio of people that organize it, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's like an actual fishing league, a catfishing league.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, man, like Jared was telling me about that. I was just like, God, like we've got the Mississippi that I live literally within miles of. You'd think that I wouldn't be envious of somebody else's situation, but I hear all these things about the Big Sioux and the Missouri with the blue cat. Oh, God, we never run into any blue cat here. And when you run into a trout down here, you set a record.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, my claim to fame as a fisherman is I am a world record holding trout fisherman. I caught a trout that was the furthest south on the Mississippi River that a trout's ever been caught, ever. I hold the record. And what's funny about this is when I caught this damn thing, I didn't know what it was. So in the caption for Snapchat, and this is what I actually sent to the DNR that they posted, I wrote, "Been a long time since I've caught something that looks anything like this. What is it, a walleye?"
No.
So I'm a record-holding, record-setting trout fisherman that thought that this trout that I caught was a walleye. Anyways, Southeast Iowa, we don't get blue cat. You have to actually go down one lock and dam before you start running into blue cat. That's over by Fort Madison and Keokuk. Just one away, dude.
There you go.
I don't know. But on the bright side for the fishing life down here.
What are you asking there, Mitch? What kind of what? What kind of?
I actually got a picture. This is Mitch Johnson. He wrestled Marshall in the finals one year. Actually got to remember the wrestler coming on him pretty soon. I just got to get on it.
He's a really good guy. Trout.
Get his.
What kind of trout was it?
Most people were saying rainbow, but a few people were calling me stupid because after I caught the trout, then I had to blast it on that. Hey, I'm a record-setting trout fisherman now. Look at this rainbow trout, and people were like, "You're a record-setting trout fisherman? You don't even know what kind of trout you've got on your line." I'm like, well, no. In fact, I thought it was a walleye. Don't you see the caption? But a lot of people were saying that I was an idiot because it's a brown trout. They actually probably used much harsher words than that. Trout fishermen aren't necessarily going to give you a break. But I'd say that most people that were commenting said it was a rainbow trout. To me, it just looked like a walleye that had been...
Catfish just spit it out.
Yeah, it's like...
Catfish brought it down south.
Or a giant creek chub or something.
But I would say the deer hunting's way better down here, down south, East Iowa. Even the does are bigger. Everything's bigger for deer hunting down here.
I love you deer hunters. Like,
it's fun.
I mean, I'll fish while you're hunting. I don't know. It isn't really my thing. But I love you guys because I get so sick of having to dodge deer everywhere I go. Southeast Iowa, everywhere.
The one thing, if you guys ever get crazy and you wanna, you gotta dodge deer in Iowa, but Highway 12 from Sioux City to Akron, you gotta dodge turkey. So you just be ready. There's so many turkey at the right time of year. You'll be dodging turkeys flying across the road. It's quite the experience.
Right on. Let's get to some comments, and we'll start with Evan Amdahl. I mentioned him earlier. He was a state placer out of Indy in the 80s. I want to say he's a coach in Minnesota for a girls program. Evan, if you're still watching, post the name of your high school. But Hell of a Fisherman right here says, "We sound good. Unfortunately, we can see me well." I was worried about that. I was worried I was going to chase listeners and users away. But have you ever, hey Marshall, I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now, but have you ever shaved your head and had that look where you shave your head and have the big ass beard and goatee?
Nope, never done it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to if I tried because I can't grow a mustache. Big thanks to Craig Bonsack for the stars. Ethan Johnson, I married a dog groomer, so she cuts my hair and about the same as a dog.
There you go. Maybe that's what I need.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Big thanks to Corey Dostal and Matthew Jean for sending stars. Hey, Johnny Johnson's tuning in. Hey, that's one of my favorite wrestling media dudes of all time. Johnny John. Have you met him?
Yeah. I took a picture with him down in at State Wrestling, and he actually posted the link for the Skilly Slam. It looks like so. If you guys are interested in it, it's right there for you in the comments. So.
Right on. We got Dan Magana sent us some stars. Big thanks, Magana. That'd be the father of Max Magana, who wrestles for Waterloo East. Won 3 titles at Waterloo Columbus as a freshman through junior. He's got one more to go to be a 4-timer next year. We need to get Daniel and Max on our podcast. I don't care if it's in person or if you call in and do an interview, but I know that Daniel and Max will be both of them would be dandy guests to have on here. But
I've gotten a lot of conversation about the change of schools or he said he won 3 titles at. Columbus, and now he's going to
Yes.
go to.
Yeah, he won 3 1A titles for Waterloo Columbus, and now he's at Waterloo East. So he's going from 1A to 3A.
Oh, okay.
And we're both 1A. I was 2A. Meepo was 2A back in my day, but they're 1A now. We're both small school guys. I mean, I believe that there's been some differences between. I believe that there's been years where 3A had weights where they've been tougher than 1A and 2A, but I also think there's been years where 1A and 2A has been tougher than 3A. Back in my day, I think that 2A was the toughest class, but that's just because I was a 2A guy. But I think it kind of goes in trends. It seems like the more time goes on, the more you see guys gravitating towards bigger schools because they're more affiliated with the clubs. In which a lot of people could look at that and be like, oh, that's going to kill wrestling. A lot of these clubs aren't going to have a wrestling program if people quit going there. Well, you can look at it that way, or you can maybe use it as initiative to build it.
You know, I actually had a great conversation with some guys, some school ADs, and some other coaches the other day, and you know, you think about the school rules about high school coaches or coaches not being able to have contact with the wrestlers outside of the season, and then so where are these guys supposed to go to train? You know, what are they supposed to do? You know, it's almost like you're forcing them to have to go to the clubs and pay a fee to wrestle and get extra training, and you know, and is that kind of like a way of killing the school programs, the summer programs and stuff? You know, it's if they can't have some support from their high school coach, and you know, how does that help? You know, if a kid wants to get good at geometry, he can go and ask the geometry teacher any time of the year. But if you're a wrestler, you can't go and ask your wrestling coach, your high school wrestling coach that has been certified and done all the background training. And so it's an interesting topic that I think, you know, that needs to be looked at since things have changed in the last 10, 15 years. More kids are specializing earlier on. You know, you don't see these 4-sport athletes near as much as you used to. And
you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. I think we're going to find out in the next 10, 15 years.
Like anything, I think it's a mixed bag personally.
Yeah.
With personalizing, or what do you call it, specializing in wrestling or any sport, I feel like it kind of increases the chances of burnout with the kid. And I also feel like it makes people disregard and just kind of neglect and forget about the guys that don't specialize and they do play multiple sports. I think people that, you know, like your Willie Sailors or whoever out there that rank these guys on a national level, you know, how would they rank these guys that don't specialize, that do play multiple sports? How would you go about factoring in the fact that their accolades may have? How would you go about?
There's just certain tournaments you have to hit throughout the year to. I mean, if I'm going to be 2 to 3, I mean, if you're going to be a 4-sport athlete in high school, it's going to be tough to be a superstar at any of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you're a two-sport athlete, you know, and let's say wrestling and I don't know, let's track or baseball. You know, I'm going to wrestle, and then, you know, you'd want to maybe hit USA Folk Style Nationals and hit Super 32. Super 32 has become a lot bigger than it used to be 15, 20 years ago. So, I mean, I think if you're doing really well at Super 32, that'd be a way to really put your name out there on top of if you're winning state titles and placing highly at your high school state tournament. You know, if you're not going to do Fargo and those other things, but you do have to show up. It's crazy. You do have to show up more at these big national tournaments than I would say you used to, but it's just you just got to plan your schedule if you're going to try and be a multi-sport athlete. And when it come back to burnout, I'm not a real big believer in burnout. I believe it comes from lack of coaching and lack of fun. You know, if the kid's not having fun and he's not getting the coaching adjustments that he needs, obviously a kid's not gonna is gonna lose interest in a sport. You know, he's not getting the attention he needs. He's not getting, I mean, the kid's cutting too much weight, and coaches aren't stepping in and telling him to stop, or something like that, or helping him grow in positions that he's losing. I obviously would see frustration in a kid there that would not want to be in the sport. I mean, that's my opinion on burnout. A kid's working too hard for too long, and he's not getting any R&R, and you got there's a fine line there. So you just got to be aware of that.
And have you ever seen it? Have you ever had a situation or experienced or had a relative or teammate in which they benefited a lot from a break?
Oh yeah, my kids. So like my kids, we used to go when they were younger, Esai and Owen. We would go practice 2 nights a week, and then I remember one year we went. I didn't mean to. I planned our whole season out, and I had it pretty big, like 3-week gaps in between competitions, and it just happened to go. It was like every weekend. It was like bang, bang, bang. They got asked to be on some dual teams with MWC down in Omaha, and then some USA State happened. It ended up being like 4 weeks in a row, and it was Tulsa was in there, and I just remember them coming home from Tulsa. They were like, "Man, we're just exhausted. I'm ready to be. I need a break." And I was like, "We got 1 more week. Let's do USA State, and then you guys can be done." So then we did 2 weeks off, no wrestling, and then the week of districts, we did 1 or 2 kind of touch-up practices, nothing crazy, and then they went and wrestled lights out at state and districts. And I actually did that every year up until last year with Esai and Owen. I would make them shut down right after USA State. No practice, no wrestling for a week or 2, and just let their bodies heal, let their mind recover. And the biggest thing is their mental get their mental health back, let them rebuild that gas tank, in their mind, and get hungry to wrestle again. So
right on.
So and that they would just come back hungrier and harder every time, and it's playing that peaks and valleys, trying to get them to peak at the right time. So I know a lot of people, they try and ramp up right before districts and state, but that's not time to take your practices into freaking overdrive a week or 2 before the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
You should be tapering. So
how would you compare and contrast what you grew up with what the youth scene was like when you were in the works compared to what you're seeing with your sons Owen, Esai, and Zeke in their journeys?
Oh, the tournaments are bigger. A lot more national tournaments, big tournaments.
How would you guys do against them if you met face to face?
Me against my own kids?
I mean, like you and the guys you and like Mitchell Johnson and Beyer, guys like that.
I think the level of wrestling is a lot higher, probably in 5th or 6th grade now than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're probably wrestling like we were in high school back when I was in high school. Some of the positioning and body control and just some of the things they're doing is pretty impressive, for a prepubescent kid. It's just, it's going to be interesting once they hit puberty. Some of these kids, how they start putting everything together and really starting to become aware of even more positioning, where their hand is, head is, foot is, compared to their opponents. When they really start becoming aware of all that, it's going to be really interesting to see all these kids we have in Iowa, how we do. I think Iowa really is going to, it's going to be pretty cool to see Iowa as a whole here in the next few years. I think we're just
got a lot of homegrown.
Oh man,
yeah,
we got a lot.
I think this Ryder Block, man. Woo, wee.
We got a lot of tough kids coming up.
I think this Ryder Block is one of the best to ever do it in our state.
Yeah, he's tough.
He had 1 career loss, and that was a finals loss to Drake Ayala. I think we can give him give him a pass on that.
Didn't he beat him?
Yes.
Earlier that year too.
Yeah. As a sophomore.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to some more comments. Evan Amdahl, Bemidji in Minnesota is where he coaches at. So check out that Bemidji wrestling program in Minnesota, girls and boys. You got a Iowa alum, independent that coaches there, Evan Amdahl. Dan Magana, I'm going to read these consecutively. Absolutely. Well, actually, I'm going to read this one first. I'm going to comment on this one first. Absolutely would love to be on a podcast with Baby Max. Dude, for real, let's do it sometime. I'm talking soon this week. Whenever you guys want to, and however many times you guys want to, I'm up for it. Just, I don't know, just call your time. Call whatever you want to talk about. I would love to have you guys on because not only are you guys, a great wrestling family. Dan Magana was a state qualifier for Waterloo East, and his son's going for 4 titles next year at Waterloo East. Not only that, but they are the types of guys that can talk wrestling like me, with somebody like us, for hours and hours and hours, and bring up some points from a perspective that not a lot of people may not have ever considered before. They've been some of the funnest people to have on the circuit since I began as a little kid, all the way through the works, and it's been fun to have the McGanas around.
I really like what he said on this last one. I think that's an interesting topic.
1 second, Super 32 is what got Max the most attention, and I think distractions cause burnout. They find out how easy stuff is that isn't wrestling. COVID hit. Max had time to ride motorbikes and spend time with his girlfriend. He decided that was more important than training. So last couple of years, he doesn't train as much after high school state. I don't see anything wrong with it, honestly.
We at Big Game, we made anybody that high school kids take 2 weeks off before they could come back, and and you do make a good point there, like like when kids, what's the goal? What's their goal? It's not your goal, it's his goal. Max, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do with your career? What are you trying to do with your life? Is that what you want to do? You want to ride your bikes and play with your girlfriend instead of wrestle and go to college, or is that not the goal anymore? That's what I always ask my kids. I was like, didn't you say you want to be a state champ? So is that not the goal? Is that why we don't want to go to practice, or what are we doing? It's easy for me not to go to practice. I can stay home and help your mom fold clothes instead of taking you to practice, but you told me that's what you want to do, so just remind them of their goals. And it's a lot harder with a high school kid, I know, because they're in puberty and know everything. I know I did.
Of course you did. Did you ever remember if you had that raccoon hair? What was up with that? Because I remember that, Marshall.
I didn't have the raccoon hair. We should have John call in.
Real quick, we're going to do a commentary, and you guys have got to help us out with how we're sounding with our microphone and if you can hear us or not. I think I've got it figured out, but I probably don't. Today is, I'm going to do birthday shout-outs as much as I can remember doing these things, because it gives us something to talk about. Today, there's a birthday today, there's a early 80s Emmetsburg legend. You guys wrestle Emmetsburg much?
Growing up, I wrestled some Emmetsburg kids. Matt Stillman. Mm-hmm. Who else wrestled from Emmetsburg? I mean, there's a lot of kids from Emmetsburg that were tough, but.
Okay, so this guy won a state title in 1982. He won Emmetsburg the team title when he won his finals match, actually. And his nephews, one of them, my brother Justin, wrestled in the finals sophomore year, semis the year before when they were freshmen. His nephews, J.D. Nag and Jacob Nag, were real state champs themselves. This is going to be Doyle Nag. Since this is his birthday, we're going to watch the big moment where Doyle Nag won his finals match and locked up the team title. And I want you guys to let us know how everything sounds. Whoops. Why aren't we showing up? Can you guys hear me? What the hell's going on here?
Uh-oh. Swafford messed it up.
What the hell? Did I unplug it?
Or did I unplug it? Down here. I can't see. I can't see.
What is going on? God, I get so sick of this. That's not coming in either. What's going on here?
What's this? I didn't do it. Nothing?
Yeah, I can't see myself.
I can't see myself. Andrew Miller. Mark Benton.
Yeah, we can get to some comments. I just got to figure out what happened to my...
Offered if
There we go.
Ah.
God damn, it's not the right microphone. Or,
He's so picky, he wants the right color.
there we go. There's that cool blue that I had. I didn't realize how much difference it would make just switching cameras and switching the angle. Sorry about that. We had tech issues. You guys know all about that, right? I have them every time. But what was I talking about before I got so rudely interrupted by myself? Oh, we're going to talk about Doyle Neg. Joe Julius. Yeah, he was a state placer in his day, wasn't he?
I remember Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, he guessed that it was Doyle Neg. Yeah, we're gonna watch his finals match here once I get a grip. Johnny Johnson, we can hear you. Mark Benton, we can hear you. Just no video. Okay, I haven't shared the video yet. I'm going to here pretty soon though. Andrew Miller, we can hear you. Just can't see you. Audio good, video out. Okay, all right. Hopefully you guys can see me now. I don't know why that happened. Also, if you guys are out there watching, you would be helping out a Pin Doctor's brother big time if you were to send stars my way. For real, I am struggling bad. So if you send some stars over, the person who sends the most will get a free t-shirt once I remember to do that. All right, so I think I got it set up to where I wanted it to be. All right, so we are going to watch Doyle Neg's state finals match in 1982, and when he won this, it won Emmetsburg the team title that year. And there's also an interview with him. And the reason we're watching Doyle Neg today, it's because it's his birthday.
Happy birthday, Doyle.
All right. Look at little Mr. Technology Pants here. Let me turn this down quite a bit.
Neg in those underhooks position. He's got a good foot sweep. And
let me know how you guys can hear us, and let me know how you can hear the video.
Kiefer Jensen's online.
Hey, thanks for the stars, bud.
What's up, Kiefer? I haven't seen you forever. That's Dalton Jensen's older brother.
So Doyle Neg is in the yellow, and I want to say it's close to tied at this point in the match. It's real late. I started it late in the match because there's some fireworks at the end of it that make it real exciting.
And there's a minute left.
I don't. Yeah, okay, so he's up 10-5, and I want to say that he had to score bonus points for the team to win the title. He's wrestling somebody with the last name Breezy, I think it said.
Is that Shoot?
Breeze of Forest City in the red.
So how do we sound? Can you hear the video? Can you hear us?
Breeze is locking up over the top, maybe for a body lock.
Better. He's a Neg, dude. Oh God! They all wrestle. They all have that.
Got him.
And he's pinned.
And he's pinned.
Emmetsburg wins the AA championship.
Awesome. Can you imagine having a moment like that where you were the hero of your community?
But if they
like
don't
that.
get their cheerleaders off
I mean,
the mat, they could
I've
take
never
a
had a
2-point
moment
away.
like that.
Somewhere in
Not
that
even
massive
close. I mean, I want to say that the closest I got was maybe like a come from behind
is the
win at
Emmitsburg
my,
heavyweight,
you know,
Doyle Nagg,
8th grade in the
who
math
just
bees or
racked
something.
up
I don't know.
the championship.
I won
For
state,
himself
and
and
the
for his
principal tried
team.
to expel me.
That was
Derek
a-
Briggs.
We won't get into that. I'm sure you get tired of that topic. All right,
And
so
for his team.
Doyle won.
That was a
Both audios are good. Wow, this is the first. So they can hear this one and they can hear us commenting. I think what I had to do is I had to set I had to make the speakers different on the outputs, and I also had to make sure that the microphones weren't canceling each other out.
And they all know that he is.
I mean, it's a bummer because we can't have those goofy headsets on when we're doing this, because that's what was happening. That's why I took that away from you. But on the bright side, it's working.
That's definitely shoot from Vision Quest. You stole this video from Vision Quest.
Well, they came
All right,
into
we're
this
gonna get to
tournament
his
with, seven men.
interview
Eagle Grove came in with 10.
and podium and stuff, and
So
then we'll move on
They
to
really had to work for it
here
to
it
get there.
is, right
Looking at
about.
Doyle Nagg of
Right about here.
Iowa, who is the new state
Yeah, he looks like a
champion
Nagg, doesn't he?
heavyweight. Doyle, you told me you weighed in at 204
Well, he looks a lot like
before your
Jacob.
match with John Breeze of
Well, and
Florida City.
JD.
You pinned him tonight.
So, a
How
little
much
darker
weight did
hair,
you
I
lose
guess.
in your heavyweight match?
He's a big Hawkeyes
Probably a
fan, I
couple
believe.
pounds for sure.
Couple of pounds in 6 minutes. I thought we'd have some action here, but this was Doyle
Tough,
Nagg, who
tough,
came
tough
back
motor
after
scooter.
leading 10-5
Emmitsburg
to get a
was real
big
tough
pin
there
over
for a
John
while.
Breeze and become the state
You know the
champion
guy that's interviewing him?
heavyweight
Yeah.
in
His name
Class
is
2A
Dick Trotter.
competition.
He's
Here you
a
go. Why don't you talk to us
longtime
about
wrestling
it, Doyle?
coach for the junior
I'm
the
sort of
junior high
in a bear
program
hug
at
situation right
Cedar
now,
Rapids,
and
Washington.
Hip
Okay.
tossed in there to
Yeah.
his back.
Just thought that was the coolest name
Yeah.
ever, Dick Trotter.
Locking his arms
Dick
up so he
Trotter.
can't move.
Little lateral drop
Man,
that puts him
he
down,
was
and you're going to get a pin right
Right
there.
there.
And what would be going through
Gene
your
Hutzel of Waterloo, and there's a
mind
happy
and body?
Yeah.
Like, what would be going
What are
through
you
your
thinking about?
head right there if you
State
had a moment
championship
like
for
that?
team and myself.
I mean, even the cheerleaders ran out of the mat.
To
I
win
mean,
the team title.
that
And
is
I came
just
through at the fall.
100%.
Thank you very much. That's
Bonzi.
Doyle Nagg, the
Yeah,
state
just
champion from Emmitsburg
exhilarated,
at heavyweight. Back to
happy,
you, Doc.
relief.
Well, there's a good way to finish it up for the Emmitsburg team.
Right
Good
on.
solid
Okay.
third.
And we can go through these podium.
Class
We can go through the
2A
podium right here, I
heavyweight
guess, just in
award.
case anybody out there watching wants to see them
Scott
on,
Jorgensen, Audubon.
on here.
Fifth place, Scott Miller,
Old
Wapsie
school.
Valley, Fairbank. Fourth place, Mike
6
Thomas,
places.
Centerville.
Man, I remember
Third
when they
place,
went to
Perry
8
Lawrence,
places.
New
and
Hampton.
people were freaking out. They thought it was the end
Second
of the world.
place, John Breeze,
State
Forest
tournament didn't
City.
mean as much.
And the 2A heavyweight champion from Emmitsburg, Doyle Nagg.
Doyle
Who is,
Nagg.
you know, is the
We need to
youngster who
Happy
won the
birthday, you
championship
frickin'
for his
hammer.
team.
Great wrestling
With a pin.
family out of Emmitsburg, Iowa. Well, actually,
tall on that top
he was a
rung.
coach, wasn't he? Out of Sibley
Those are the
Ocheaton?
heavyweight.
I'm not sure. Sibley Ocheaton.
Ocheaton? Yeah, and it's Mediapolis. Oh, wait.
Mediapolis.
You've never gotten that wrong, have you? All right. We're going to get some comments. Michael Fleshman says, Marshall Koethe is a dog.
Old
A
Fleshman.
D-A-W-G. I think that's a good dog, right?
Yeah, old Fleshman. He's got some tough hammers. His oldest boy won state. Was it last year or the year before? A heavyweight. I think it was 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And then
Easton?
Yeah, and he's got 3 more boys coming up.
Easton and my brother are teammates at Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah. Boys heard good things about him. Yeah, Easton Fleshman. What was the name of his school? But he was the first guy to win state since like the 90s when somebody did it. It's where the Boneanders went, I believe.
I want to say Underwood, but I know it's not.
No, it's not Underwood. Right up there on the West Lion. Dang it.
Yep.
West Lion Inwood. West Lion Inwood. Thanks a ton, guys, for keeping.
There they go. They got
Hey, dude, it's just great to see that people are still watching.
Fleshman, you only got to say it once, man.
You only got to state one. Oh, say it once.
You only got to say it one time. No, he said West Kion. No.
Gotcha. I was like,
Doc's
I was
dudes.
about ready to be like, no, he placed the year before too.
Doc's dudes are out of West Lion.
Doc's dude.
The wrestling club.
Yeah, the Boneanders. I want to say Michael and Alec. Was there an Emmett Hughes in 2002?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if he was West Lion. He was so good when he was a 7th and 8th grader. Damn. Johnny Johnson says, Doyle went on to wrestle at Buena Vista for Al Baxter and was an NCAA D3 All-American 6th placer at 190 in 1985. One-time All-American at BV. I had no clue.
Oh, he did.
That's
Yeah,
all.
Johnny knows.
Love him.
That's going to be the new thing. Johnny knows.
Dude, Johnny Johnson's up there with Craig Sesker. Craig Sesker and Tim Johnson for me is my favorite media people ever.
That should be the new article. Johnny knows.
Yeah, man, he's a great dude.
I like him.
Got to meet him at State finally. I felt the first time. You know, I read this interview with Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, and it was obviously before he passed away, but he said something along the lines of, I didn't realize that Nirvana was a big band, or that we had officially made it, until I saw us on the Beavis and Butthead show. Not to compare Johnny to Beavis and Butthead, but I didn't realize that the Pin Doctor, I mean, that was kind of when Johnny Johnson asked me to take a picture with him for the selfies that he was doing. I've been watching those since he started doing it. And I don't know, when he asked me to be in a picture with him for his Facebook projects that he's been posting, I don't know, I guess that was kind of a little moment for me, like, wow, this guy wants a picture with the Pin Doctors guy.
Yeah, right. I think Johnny's from East Buchanan.
Yes, East Buchanan.
Yeah, he's
Or
noticed.
Clarion. Wait.
I thought I seen him wearing an East Buchanan shirt one time.
Or did he wrestle at Clarion and had a kid that wrestled for East Buchanan?
I don't know.
Johnny, if you're watching, man, I'm sure you are. Hook us up in the comments.
But there was a real tough kid out of East Buchanan that was in my bracket my freshman year
Clarion.
and my sophomore year. He took third both times in the bracket.
Gotcha.
So
Brent Myers, Johnny Johnson, get in the truck, John. I don't know what that means, but sounds cool.
yeah.
Aaron Helmerich. Hey, do you know who Aaron Helmerich is? You probably know him as the assistant coach at Sergeant Bluff for
Okay.
the past few years.
Yeah.
But he's actually in my grade. He's good friends with. He went to the Disney duels with my brother Justin. They were pretty tight, and Paul Bradley. Those three were real tight. It's like, let's say Adam Gottschalk, Paul Bradley, my brother, and Aaron. Anyways, Aaron Helmerich was a 2-time placer at Northland and a state champ at 1A 112 in 2001 when we were seniors.
Aaron Helmerich from where?
From Northland.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we might have. I'm trying to think if we wrestled on some teams together. Or,
Yeah, he
I know him. I try to stay away from Sergeant Bluff, though. Not a big fan of Sergeant Bluff. I would have say that.
Well, I mean, he speaks for himself. Everybody I've met from Sergeant Bluff, I've liked.
I like the people there.
Rodmans.
Those are good people.
The Rodmans, and I've liked everybody I've met there.
Yep, there it is. Derek Lentz from East Buchanan.
There
Dennis
you go.
Crawford knew. He was tough. Actually, crazy thing is, my freshman year, I had him in the quarterfinals, and I tech falled him, and then I had him in the semifinals my sophomore year, and it was a 4-2 match. So he was a little more prepared that sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
But
Johnny Johnson says, from Clarion, yes, son wrestled at East Buchanan, and I coached at East Buchanan. I didn't know they coached. I knew that he officiated.
I think he.
I don't have any idea how that came. I don't have any idea how I knew that, honestly. So he was probably part of the. There was a Clarion team that won state in the '80s, if I remember right. Somebody let me know if I'm onto something, but I wonder if Johnny was on that team. It was like I don't know if you ever watched that skit that I posted where after they were awarded the trophy, they like. All the fans stormed the match and stormed, and it was kind of a cool thing that they all stormed for their trophy.
No, there you go.
All had like a little mob. Evan Amdahl, hey dude, thanks for tuning in this entire time. He's still with us, about an hour into it. Big thanks to him. Says, I think the comparison of Johnny Johnson to Beavis and Butthead is right on the money. He coached at Kirkwood when I wrestled at Iowa Central. I always forget that Kirkwood had a wrestling program. Yeah, that would have been probably where I would have ended up at if they had it back in my day.
That's crazy to think that they had one.
Wrestled at East Buchanan and coaches at MFL. Cool. Lentz. Okay. Cool. All about Johnny Johnson. All right, let's get to something else. There are all kinds of stuff we can talk about. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is two-time state champ from Akron-Westfield, 2009?
2008.
8. Marshall Koethe. We are going to share the screen and do a little slideshow type deal like I did with one of our last people that we had on. Actually, let me exit out of this motor scooter. All right, so we're going to go through a few topics here, and I kind of figured we wouldn't even need them. I figured that once we started talking, it'd be fine, but I haven't prepared, so why not, right? So let me get this screen shared to this right here. Set this up. I don't know. Do you like that? I don't. All right. So let's go to the next one. We've already been there. All right. What do you got to say about these guys, Marshall?
No, that's a good group of kids. And 2 coaches. You know, you got Fred Lima there on the far right.
Wait, what team is it?
North Liberty. Well, it's Liberty High School. No, it was my first year helping out coaching there. Great group of kids. I couldn't ask for a better group of high school kids to work with. You know, great coaches to work with. Everybody was open-minded. We were all, you know, no one was trying to say this or that was the right way. We would always bounce ideas off each other. And the kids, you know, I know a lot of you coaches out there, you can walk in a room and have a group of kids that, you know, you can show stuff to them or teach stuff to them, and they go out and practice it, and they'll never do it. They'll never learn it, per se. It'll go in one ear, out the other. And this group of kids, we had, man, they absorbed everything like sponges. We'd show something one night, and they'd all be doing it the next day at the tournament or the duel, and they just kept growing and growing and growing. It was such a fun season with the Liberty High wrestling team, and we got four kids on the state this year, which they previously, and I think they started the school in 2017. That was the total amount of kids they've ever qualified for the state tournament, was 4 total in those amount of years, and we did it in 1 year. So
you think head coach Fred Lima, do you think he's got something pretty cool
yeah,
going on?
Fred's got a real good philosophy. He's a lot, we have very similar philosophies. And then we got the head assistant coach, Chris Arnold. He's right on board with that. He was a couple-time state champ out of Minnesota.
Okay. And Fred was out of
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
And then he wrestled at Iowa with like the brands and stuff. But then his good buddy is
Freed.
Yeah, Alan Freed. And so there's a lot of good knowledge there, a lot of good things. You know, and we both believe, you know, there isn't one way to do something. Every kid can use it a little different or modify it a little different for their body type, etc. So, you know, it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun this year, and we just really preach gratitude as our team philosophy. You know, a lot of gratitude, a lot of being grateful to coach them, a lot of being grateful to compete, just being happy to be able to do it. That was kind of our philosophy for the year, and I think it really paid off. You know, and we got a lot of compliments from coaches and refs, and just the way we worked and our dynamic. So it was a fun year, and I hope to continue that for a long time. And I hope we grow something there, something special.
Cool. Now, you guys had one placer?
No placers.
Oh, I thought that Vinny Lima, I thought that he like cracked the top 5 or 6 or so.
No, Vinny fell short in the blood round.
Okay.
So he was real close.
Gotcha.
So, and the crazy story about Gavin, actually, Benton, he didn't wrestle all year long. He was out with the knee surgery, and I think he got cleared to wrestle with a brace the day before districts, and then he goes and qualifies for the state tournament. So that was no practice all year long.
That's impressive.
You know, he goes into districts. I think he got a forfeit, so he was undefeated, and we tried using that in the seeding meeting. But
Any of these guys coming back?
all of them.
Hey,
All
how
of
about
them. We
that?
graduated 2 seniors. They were great. But we a team full of young kids, and our youth program ran by Derek. I got to pronounce this correctly, or he'll probably kill me. But Derek Carew from Wisconsin. He does a pretty good job with them. So we got a real good feeder program, and then we got big game right down the road. So I think it's going to be something good here in the next few years at Liberty that we're already building. So watch Landon Bell. He's a monster, man. He's going to be he's just a freshman this last year, and man, at the rate he grows and learns things, I could see him being at the top of the podium before he graduates.
Cool.
Same with Tien. So
Nice.
it'll be fun.
Cool. Good to hear, man. See, I met them a few times this year, and it's always an awesome experience meeting some of just the great people that this sport produces. It never ends. You always meet more great people, and the North Liberty staff was some of my favorite people I met this year. Met them at Ottumwa. So, let's go to the next one.
No.
We got you and Mitchell Johnson.
Yep.
See, he was a 4-time placer
Yep.
from Interstate 35. See, on his it says Mitch Johnson was ranked number 1 at 135 pounds. This must be your senior year.
I think that was our junior year.
Oh, okay.
No, maybe that was our senior year. Yep, because I was TRV. So yep. So the article is from my senior year, and then the picture is from my junior year.
Gotcha. And that would have been your third time in the finals?
Yep.
Holy cow, I'm looking at it right now, and I forgot about this. Jarrett Cheery got third at state in your bracket. He won state the next year.
Yep. I beat him in the quarters, and then I beat Cody Kirsten in the semis.
That's a Logan Magnolia name, isn't it?
Yep.
Man, those Kirstens have been something else for that squad.
I got Mitch in a minute 58 in the finals.
It's a tough finals match to have, man.
If you're watching, Mitch, minute 58, buddy.
Well, I mean, that was a tough-ass bracket to make the finals to begin with. So props to you, Mitch. I never got there. Got to the semis, and that's where I hit a wall.
I'm just giving you crap.
Well, you're able to do stuff like that to badasses like Mitch Johnson, because you actually sealed the deal against guys like,
It's just fun banter. It don't matter.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, I just figured this is your results every year. I figured I'd bring this up just to see if anything sparked a discussion. We were talking about the Hargraves earlier. Vance Ortner, how many times was he in your bracket? It looks like at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and I never
Seems like he
wrestled
placed
him.
like 3 or 4 times.
I never wrestled him.
He's always watching this, and I really appreciate that. I'd like to put something together on him eventually. What was Lee Myrick like?
Lee Merrick, he was tough. Yeah, he was tough. It was kind of a crazy finals match because I controlled most of the match, and then he caught me in Oklahoma roll right at the end to go into overtime, and then just threw him. I did a little slide by, throw by, got 2 in overtime.
Who's this guy?
Oh, Dan Hiserote.
Wait, is this the sergeant? Is this Sergeant Bluff?
Yeah, he's from Sergeant Bluff. So the crazy story about him is he was tough, but so my very first high school match was against Brandon Bulkey, and I went out and I was 8-9 going into the third period against Brandon Bulkey. I cut him 10-8, and I took a bad shot out of shape, got cradled, and lost 15-8. That was my first high school match ever. And then my next match was against Dan Hiserote, and I think I lost 4-2. I just started my high school career out 0-2, and it was like...
You did?
Yeah. Yep. And so me and my dad were like, oh man, maybe high school is a whole different ball game, It's like, what's going on here? And it was just like, what the world? And then I went, never didn't lose another match the whole year. until the state finals. So, and me and Dan, we had a lot of good battles. I think I beat him 2 out of 3 times that year, like 6-2. I think we're 6-1, and dude was just relentless on bottom. Stand up, return, stand up, return, stand up, return.
Oh man, that used to make me
return.
so tired having to deal with that.
All right. So then I would just cut him, take him down, and then and he actually ended up beating me again my sophomore year at Sergeant Bluff. So it was kind of a crazy match. I think it went scoreless in the first period, and I got away, and then he went down. So it was 1-0. He went down in the third. He stands up, return him, doing the stand-up stuff again. And then one time he stood up, and I went to lift him, and he like threw his hips to the other side of my body, and I ended up suplexing him like straight over my head, dropped him right on his shoulders. Like it was like perfect 5 for freestyle, not good for folk style. So then I got penalty point, 1-1 then. I was like, you know what, I'll just cut him, take him down. So I cut him, 2-1 him, and took him down, got 2 on the edge of the mat, stand up, ref waves it off, no 2, no 2. Do it again, ref gives me 2 edge of the mat, we stand up, go to center, waves it off again, and then I end up losing 2-1. So out of my 6 losses in high school, Dan got me 2 of them. 2 of them.
33.333%.
Yep. So,
man, props to him. He must have been a tough dude. He placed in TJ Seabolt's bracket when TJ won his 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. And who TJ wrestled in the finals?
I can't remember.
It wasn't Weatherman, was it?
I want to say, that was when Nick Pickerel transferred to Centerville that year. They had a squad, man. They had a guy from Illinois that transferred there that year.
Okay.
Maybe it was the year before,
I remember
actually.
that.
Pat.
McCaffrey? No, Pat. I'll think of it.
And I don't remember who TJ wrestled for his 4. Oh, did he wrestle a McCool?
No, I don't remember.
Did he wrestle? Was it Austin McCool or Zach McCool or something? Or a McLeod?
No, I don't remember.
I gotta check this. This is gonna drive me nuts.
You check the chat. Maybe they already answered it.
Yeah, I think they probably have. My phone's acting up. Typical. All right, on to the next. We already looked at this. I noticed another state champ on here. The guy that got 7th, Nathan McRoberts. He was a state champ. So you've got 4 state champs on the podium of the second state championship that you won. There was 4, including yourself. There was 4 state champions.
There you go.
That's wild, dude. All right, so I got your family here. Got a couple of these slides. I mean, big things in the works for them. Kind of be silly if we left them out, right?
Yeah, they do a good job. I can't complain. There's the youngest Zeke, Esai. He's a little hammer. Macklin Doyle. That was a good match down in Solon. They wrestled real hard.
Yeah, Macklin Doyle's dad is Casey Doyle.
Yeah.
And he was a state champ in the 90s for Manchester, West Delaware. He actually placed a couple times in a couple of Juergens' brackets.
Okay.
Yeah, he got third when Juergens won his 3rd title.
Yeah, I actually talk to him now every time I see him after that match. He's just nice, real nice guy to talk to and and socialize with. So
I think it's real cool seeing these kids of hammers. It just, I don't know, the wrestling community is definitely a hammer breeding community.
It's definitely fun.
All right, on to the next. Here's the 4. So Akron-Westfield, they now have 5 individual state champions after Cale Morrow won 1A 112 this year. But you 5 have won a total of 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Henrik had 3, you had 2. So it'd be 1,
7.
2, 3. 7. 8.
Chris was the first one. That was my 8th grade year, and he actually beat Austin Bayer of Nodaway Valley in overtime.
And that's who beat you in the finals, right?
Yep. Can you imagine being Austin? I always thought it would be crazy being Austin Bayer, and you just lost to a kid from Akron-Westfield. And next thing you know, you got to wrestle another kid, a freshman from Akron-Westfield the next year, and then it's a tough match again. It's like deja vu for him. I always thought that'd be wild.
Deja vu all over again.
And then Joe, man, Joe's tough. Tough kid, man. He was my practice partner every day for 2 years. And then the sweet thing about Joe, he was always a weight right above me. So then when people would bump away from me, they didn't realize what they were getting their hands into going up to Joe.
I bet. He had such it's Joe and John, right?
Yep.
They had such funky style. Like, which one's got the real
Joe was the more unorthodox.
Unorthodox?
Yeah, he was fun to watch wrestle.
Reminds me of this guy I had on my team at Loras College from Dixon, Illinois, named Brad Bishop. His nickname on our team was Goofy because of the way he wrestled, but he was an All-American for us, so we weren't making fun of him.
Right. And then Chris, I mean, he's tough. He was just a hammer. You know, we'd practice every day together my freshman year and just grind it out. And the thing that was fun about Chris is we just innovate. We'd get into positions and try and get into different scrambles and just see how to move, how to react. It was just fun drilling with Chris, and then when it was time to go live, it was a war. And even in conditioning, man, that guy would not let anybody beat him. I tried a few times, but I couldn't match that pace.
There's Chris Utesh. We talked about him a little bit. He's fighting cancer.
Yeah, I believe he's in remission, like he's recovering.
Okay.
Last I read, so I think he's doing real well.
I was hoping you knew something about that because I hadn't heard anything in a while. Here's another one of Chris and who's Doug Manley again?
Doug Manley's the man.
I know.
If you don't know Doug Manley in the world,
I know,
of wrestling,
man. I'm having a terrible brain cramp right now.
He is like
I wrote an article on him and I still am having a cramp.
He's like the elite ref in Iowa. I don't know what his position is or whatever, but I know he used to be a rule interpreter, and he's from Akron. And Chris is actually married to Doug's daughter, Cash. And,
Okay, that's right. All right, it's all coming back to me. All right.
Yeah, and Doug, he's just real knowledgeable about the rules, and I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to be like the head ref for Brute Nationals, and he's just a real knowledgeable guy about the sport. So I think he took second at state one year.
Okay.
If I remember right.
Yeah, that sounds right. I looked it up one time. I want to say I posted this right here as an article once, and I think I got into that a little bit. And all right. 1 second. Let me check to see where we're at on there. Okay. Well, this right here. Do you even know what this is?
Well, it looks like Gary Horton and Jim Henrich. And
yeah. Do you know who Gary Horton is?
I do know Gary Horton. His daughter, youngest daughter, Jessica, was in my class. And I knew Gary pretty well. He used to come in the wrestling room. We'd roll around a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then...
so he would have been 1970. Oh, wow. 76 or 77, it appears.
Yeah.
Wow, so he got second at state that year. Is that the first finalist you guys ever had?
Third.
Third. Okay, you got third. There he is.
Yep.
Let's get a good look at him.
No, I think there was another guy. I can't think of his name. Real good. I used to talk to him all the time. I think it's heavyweight, or I can picture him. I just can't think of him.
All right, what's this right here, man?
That's bait fishing.
That's bait fish. I was gonna try and pull one over on you, like, this is your record fish, but I don't think anybody would buy that.
That's my City High shirt. Don't show nobody that. But no, I like City High. I like Corey. Good mind.
My nephews are City High.
He's got good philosophy.
Justin's boys.
So I always like supporting good programs. So
right on. Oh, we need to get to this badass eventually.
Oh,
look at that guy.
Yeah.
All right, Justin Koethe. He is up there, in my opinion, as he's got to be one of the best guys that never won a folk style state title. I mean, this guy won how many Greco national titles?
Folk freestyle too, and
I think he's probably the best Greco-Roman wrestler that Iowa has ever produced. I don't know who else would be better.
I'd have to look back at the record books, but I know from like 2010 on.
Dave Kelgard, of course.
2010 on, Justin was definitely probably one of the top Greco guys to come out of Iowa. Yeah, maybe even before. I don't know. We had some tough Greco guys, but I don't know how many. I gotta think how many Fargo titles he won in Greco. And the crazy story about the one year he wrestled, he actually went up a weight like right before weigh-ins, and ended up winning Fargo just by randomly going up. Yeah, Lou Massey was tough.
Oh, yes he was. Marines.
Yep.
Yes he was.
Speaking of that, the Lou Massey Memorial Tournament is coming up here. If it didn't just happen, I think it's this coming weekend. So that's always a great tournament. I always used to like that tournament because my dad used to make me wrestle cadets and juniors, freestyle and Greco. So that was always a great day.
Mm.
So, no, Justin's tough.
All right. Who's this guy?
That's Chris.
No, that's Scrody. Scrody Shadsworth. I think I'm going to have this guy right here. It's my best friend from Meepo. His name is Scrody. And I think I'm going to have him on here doing segments of testing out fast food restaurant items. I'm a nerd that loves watching food reviews. And I especially like watching people do the food review. I don't know why. It's just one of my dorky things I do. And yesterday, I went to Burger King with this dude, and he ordered something, and he gave me, he's one of these guys that orders food for himself, but he also has to know what everybody else is ordering, before they even order it. And it just always, I always noticed that because I don't know if it's ever crossed my mind to ever wonder about what other people are eating because I'm so busy eating my own stuff. So he's like one of these guys that's like kind of a connoisseur of food. He'll go from asking what I'm eating, and he'll give me his knowledge of whatever I'm eating and kind of go on and on about that. And then he'll go on about what he ordered. And I'm like, man, I like covering wrestling. I want to do food reviews. I think old Scrody Shadsworth here is going to be my food review guy. What do you think?
Oh, Chris is a good guy. I think he'll give you a good opinion.
He's like one of our mutual best friend here.
Yeah, I like to come down. We do a lot of hunting and stuff together. Chris, he's pretty knowledgeable about hunting, and we do a lot of fishing and random stuff like that together. So it's good to keep Chris outside. You need to get him in the sun.
Right on. Shout out to Scrody.
Right.
He actually wasn't a state placer in wrestling. He was actually an all-state basketball player from Minneapolis. And track and football.
Yep.
And first-team all-state baseball. He's a hell of an athlete. And that's our guy that we fish with. But we're going to get to the comments here before wrapping up. But I've got one more slide. And it's going to be a Nate Herta slide, but not what you think.
Oh, here we go.
It's like, you've probably been asked every question known to man about your rivalry and your match with Nate Herta, right?
Yeah.
And if I were to tell you that I'm going to inquire about something that nobody ever has inquired about with you and Nate Herta, would you believe me?
Go ahead. Let's see it.
Take somebody pretty creative, right? All right. So, Marshall Koethe and Nate Herta, we've all discussed to no end, their wrestling capabilities, like which one's a better wrestler, if there's ever been a better match, everybody remembers their match that they had at state when they were seniors. But has anybody ever compared which one of these guys has the hotter sister?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh.
It's Marcia Koethe and Natalie Herta. Which one of these hot ladies right here? Which one of these ladies is hotter?
I like that red hair.
Dude, honestly, Marshall, I think your sister Marcia's hotter.
That's hilarious. Look at this guy.
Natalie Herta. Dude, there's two examples, there's two options that they let you select. They let you do two different versions of it. Man, Nate Herta's first one that I did had a poof ball in his bangs. I was like, they made him look totally like 1988.
You know what I find crazy about when I think about Nate Herta and our high school careers and stuff, and we live so close together. How come we never even talk to work out together or anything. Like, it's just like the way the mindset of the wrestling community was back then, or over up in Northwest Iowa anyway.
I always felt that way about Dustin Bliven.
Yeah, I don't understand why we never thought to, like, hey, let's work out, let's make each other better, let's, blah blah blah. We're on our own paths, and we're like 20 minutes away from each other. It would have been nothing to go in and work out, get a workout in. It's just, stuff like that. It kind of blows me away that we never did stuff like that back then.
Well, I mean, if it is any consolation, or if it makes you feel better, I think that your sister's hotter than his sister. I think Marcia Koethe is hotter than Natalie Herta.
There you go.
And that's not to be talking any smack about Nate Herta's sister Natalie, but just thank God that you guys are dudes.
That's funny.
All right, so that's all I have for the slideshows. I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and now we're just gonna get to some of these comments, kind of wrap up, and if anything else crosses our mind, then we'll talk about it. If not, we'll wrap up.
We'll have to give Nate Toole some love.
Oh yeah, I want to get Nate Toole on the show.
There you go.
I need to set that up sometime.
He actually, the crazy thing about Nate is he was, I think, 171 when I was over there as a senior, and he was like my practice partner when we went live. And
he was like a phenom as like a little guy. I saw that he was like one of the, I don't know if it was a Trinity Award winners list, but he was one of these kids that had his picture up in one of those Wrestling USA magazines, and they only if you get your picture on there at any age, you did something pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
I never made any of those, but Justin made a few.
Yeah, it was fun. There was a lot of good guys at TRV. It was fun being there.
Okay, so 1983 Clarion won state. Marty Anderson, he was a 79 grad. Johnny Johnson. Wow, so man, he's aging well. And not to sound weird or anything, but he's only 1 year younger than my dad and a year older than my mom. And Johnny Johnson could pass for 50. I'm crazy. I hope I age like that, Johnny.
Me too.
Tim McEwen. Kirkwood had a great wrestling team. That's excuse me,
I'm gonna
I
have
have
to do
heard
some
that.
research on that now.
What were their colors, Kirkwood? What were their
Blue?
Blue?
Had to be blue.
I think that was Drake, wasn't it? Also,
I don't know.
Drake University. They had some studs, man. All right, Daniel McGana. Question: are the blades on that? Oh, I hate the ceiling fan. On that ceiling fan, about 8 inches long. It's so tiny, dude. I know. It's not my choice. Leaving that stupid thing up and not throwing it over the other, over the ceiling tiles just forever, was an argument that I lost with my dad. See, my dad and I replaced all these ceiling tiles over Christmas break, and I was all about, dude, just cut the cord, turn the electricity off, cut the cord, get that thing out of here. I don't want this damn crappy looking, small, microscopic ceiling fan. I don't want it. I don't need it. And he's just like, well, you never know. It could get real hot weather. I'm like, all right. Let's keep it. Made it a lot more difficult to fit those ceiling tiles in there, too. I would have just said pitch it, but I don't know. Who knows? I still have some ceiling tiles left. I may still just push it up and over and put another ceiling tile in, so it never, like it never even existed.
There you go.
All right. Nate Toole says, Koethe was a great teammate. Long live TRV.
TRV, no longer a school.
Dude, Marshall, you got a lot of people tuning in from Twin River Valley Bode.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little hotbed that's produced the Saturns with Saturn.
Humboldt, he's from Humboldt, but
Wade wrestled there 1 year, I believe.
Did
he? Yeah, he placed for them when he was a freshman, and then his sophomore year, I think he was Humboldt.
Okay.
My brother Justin and Wade Saturn wrestled in the quarters. Wade was ranked first, and Justin was ranked second.
There you go.
Justin, his last 3 years of high school. See, the last two were Mosafé, both years, but all 3 years, his sophomore, junior, and senior year, he had number 1 and number 2 in the quarters, and he was ranked number 2 all 3 times. His senior year, he's ranked number 1 because he was the defending champ.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Wade Saturn his sophomore year, and then Mosafé, all 3 in the quarterfinals. And his freshman year, it was Levi Heinold from Clarinda.
There you go.
TRV, baby, says Nate Toole. Hey, Nate, got to get you on here, man. One of these days, I probably won't be able to make my way up to Northwest Iowa just because of the. Wait, does he live in Northwest still?
Fort Dodge, I believe.
Fort Dodge. But yeah, I tell you what's a game changer is being able to have people call in to talk. You know, that saves me a lot of gas mileage. Anyways, Brian Mitchell, West Delaware. Yes, sir. What were we talking about?
I don't remember. Official.
Casey Doyle. Yeah.
And then he's talking about Doug Manley, the head official for the state.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Okay.
And he's also the head official for NAIA.
I would have gotten that wrong. I thought he was talking about himself there at first.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Then he's talking about the Lou Massey being the Greco stud he was.
Rest in peace, Lou Massey. It's a great wrestling family right there. Keith Massey was
still is. He's a man.
Oh yeah.
A lot of knowledge there. That's where I went in the summertime down to the building and got to wrestle with a lot of great wrestlers there. So.
Wyatt Volker, Michael Fleshman says Wyatt Volker is a good Greco guy.
Yeah, but he wasn't near the credentials as Justin and.
I'd like to see the match though. Justin Koethe versus Wyatt Volker.
I still couldn't stop my gut, Volker. If he's watching, he still couldn't stop my gut wrench.
He was a big game wrestling club guy, wasn't he? How's he doing?
I think he's doing real good at UNI. I'm real excited. You know, Doug Schwab's a great coach and.
Randy Pugh.
Yeah, so there'll be good things coming out of UNI, so which is awesome to see.
All right, Nate Toole again. Big thanks for hanging in there with us. There couldn't have been a quieter hotel room after Koethe hurt a semis match. We both lost that round, and I'll never forget it. I've had those moments myself. Usually mine were with a guy named Josh Keller or Aaron Drain.
I don't remember it. I blocked those out. No, I'm just kidding.
I remember those moments probably. It's like I can feel it still. I remember those moments just as much as I do my good ones, probably more.
Who's this Colby Bayer? Is that relative of...
I sent some stars, so...
Is Colby Bayer relative of Austin Bayer?
I'm guessing so. What are they, Nottoway Valley?
Yep.
That's I think that's a long time Nottoway Valley wrestling name.
Yep, and now you got the head coach of Nottoway Valley is Honnold?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, Brad Honnold. It was his birthday last week.
Yep.
Dean Esser says I should keep the ceiling fan. I mean, I don't mind that option simply because that's less work for me. Hey, here's a stud right here. Justin Hansen, Hall of Famer right here.
Yep.
I want to say he was a 4-time state finalist.
2-time state champ out of Humboldt, Iowa, Wartburg.
Says Johnny Johnson, one of the best officials, Clarion Cowboys. Let's go. Yeah. Another guy to come from Clarion. Didn't Dan McCool come from there too?
I don't know.
Not sure. So Clarion's definitely, and the Portillo brothers. I haven't really had very many contributors on my site, like people that have written for me, but one of my few has been the Portillo brothers. I posted some of their rankings a couple times and a couple stories from both. Wow, so that Clarion Goldfield Dow's seems like a community that produces a lot of people that like to cover wrestling, which is cool. Oh yeah.
Look at this. This is an interesting comment by Johnny. I'm gonna have to Haywarden at Sioux Empire College. Was that in Haywarden?
Okay. He says I coached back in the day at Haywarden at Sioux Empire College. Rod Earlywine was the high school coach.
Which he ended up being the superintendent, I believe, at Sergeant Bluff, if I don't remember. And he's another. I think he's pretty far up there in the reffing ladder. He's always got that black, slick back hair, Rod Earlywine.
Haywarden's a community that I learned when I started this thing. When I started this thing, I really started studying my Iowa geography. I always was into that, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting a bunch of misinfo. I'd never heard of Haywarden until...
Haywarden. So...
All right.
Brady Punt.
Best memory of Marshall Koethe was actually a match he lost when we were at junior regionals, and he was a freshman coming off his runner-up finish, and he had to wrestle Jason Ness as a senior, ranked nationally, and Marshall took him down 3 times in a row.
Oh, that was a pretty wild match. I didn't even know who Jason Ness was, and I was going out to wrestle him at regionals, and Zach Dominguez was like, "Oh, who you got? And they looked at the card, and And he goes, "Oh, you'll be all right. You got him." And I had no idea who I was wrestling. I think it was Jason's senior year, and I bumped up from cadets and wrestled him. I went out and double legged him, picked him up off the mat, took him down, couldn't turn him, back to our feet, did it again. And then the third time we got in a scramble, he ended up on top. There was a gut wrench, leg lace, ended it. But I got 3 hard doubles on Jason Ness, believe it or not.
Mm. Man, that is really cool.
Right. Not a lot of people can say they picked Jason Ness up on a double leg, up on their shoulder.
Mm-mm.
So.
Not very many. 3 times in a row.
Right,
Jeez.
in one match.
Freshman.
So he was probably thinking, who the heck's this guy?
Were you one of these kids that like matured real? Like, were you like one of these guys that matured real quick?
Well, I don't know, probably. Who knows?
Or were you just really good and were able to go with upperclassmen like that?
Maybe both. Who knows? Lucky. One of the 4 options.
Zach Anderson. Marshall, remember when you sat middle of the mat on your butt and put your ankle bands for junior year finals? Or maybe it was sophomore year? I think you, Tesh, and I talked you into that. That was hilarious.
Oh, I don't remember it.
Were you, you weren't very difficult to talk into doing stuff like that, were you?
I did all kinds of crazy crap.
Me too.
If only people knew.
Me too. Me too. Me too. If anybody mentioned the word dare, I was in. There wasn't a whole lot I wouldn't do.
I had to teach those TRV boys how to party, and I don't think they ever learned. They're still trying to figure it out.
They take some pretty good notes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where do they wrestle at now?
Who? I think they split that school up in between Pocahontas, Algona, and Humboldt.
Pocahontas, the home of the Warnemont brothers, Chris and
Yep.
Aaron. I got a funny story about Aaron Warnemont. Chris was a guy that was around my age and weight. Never wrestled him, but got close. Aaron Warnemont, when he was a little kid, he was up watching Chris. He was up watching his older brother Chris, and Chris got third that year at B95, and I got third that year as a 5th grader at B90. So me and him had a lot to talk about. And we were at the same hotel, and I was playing ping pong, and this little kid, it ends up being Aaron Warnemont, comes up, and he's like, hey, he's like, can I play? He's like, nobody else is playing with you. Can I play? And I'm like, I guess. So I got talking to him. I'm like, so do you wrestle? And he's like, no, I don't really like it. I only did it a couple of years and a couple tournaments. So I didn't think it was very fun, so I stopped doing it. I'm up here watching my brother Chris, and that's when I found out that he was Chris Warnemont's little brother. And I'm like, oh, you're Chris Warnemont's brother? I'm like, wow, that's a guy that I always hoped to not wrestle, in the grade above me. And he's like, oh, well, you should want to wrestle. And he's like, just kind of like doing the little brother talk smack stuff. But I played ping pong with that kid all weekend, and not once did he ever say that. Every time I asked him, like, so do you think you're going to wrestle someday? No, I don't really like it. No, not my thing. And then he became Aaron Warnemont. He ended up winning state for Pocahontas, and he won a national championship for Wartburg. I guarantee he didn't remember me, because this was back when the AAU state tournament was at 5 Seasons in Cedar Rapids, and that's where the hotel was too. It was like,
yep.
Yeah, so like, that was a long time ago, and that's where the ping pong table that I'd say that entire weekend I probably played 20 ping pong games against Aaron Warnemont. And, of course, I beat him every single time because I was so much older. And just don't tell your brother, kid. I don't even know why I was scared. I mean, I was not like I was some chump, but yeah, I'll always remember that. And for those of you who don't know, Aaron Warnemont passed away well over a decade ago, and it was a freak thing, and I hated hearing that news. All right, Dan McCool was from Clarion as well, says John Johnson. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so to all of you who are still tuning in, I'm going to post a link. If you'd like to call in, I'm going to give you guys one more chance at this. I'm going to post it in the comments section right now. And if you want to click on it and call in and talk to me and Marshall, or probably talk to Marshall, I'm guessing, then by all means, do so. So I'll give you about 5 minutes. So when this thing says 1:39,
we'll be waiting.
So I don't know Yeah, and hey, Nate Toole, if you're still watching, man, call in.
Call in.
I want to
Nate.
get him for an actual whole show. I think he's probably got a pretty interesting story. Tried finding a shirt that I've never worn for one of these before. I've had a different shirt for every live show I've done. Love The Office. Anybody else out there a fan of The Office? If so, I mean, do I even need to ask who your favorite character is? I mean, other than Michael Scott. Actually, I'll just ask this. What is your favorite episode of The Office? Mine is the one where Michael Scott runs over Meredith with his car, and then they do the 5K and tries making it all about rabies prevention so people would not pay attention to him running over her with the car. I think it's one of the funniest episodes of anything ever created. But
everybody's scared to call in. No questions?
Emily Jane. Well, it's not 1:39 yet. Emily Jane says meow. All right, bark, bark. Johnny Johnson. Aaron was a 3-time All-American at Wartburg and a 2-time NCAA champion. Aaron Warnemont. And to think that this little kid was talking about how he didn't like wrestling. He's like, no big deal. I just like coming up here and playing ping pong and watching my brother. Like, not my thing. And it wasn't one of those things where he had a bad attitude either. He was just like real, I don't know, real good kid, real friendly, like good kid.
Everybody tell Elijah Sullivan to call in. He's watching, but he's too scared to call in. Oh,
there we go. We got Aaron Helmrich.
There it is.
There he is.
What's going on?
Hey,
Let me get him in here. All right.
Hey, Marshall.
Now we got to scoot closer together, Marshall.
Look at this dude's beard.
Thank
I need a beard like that.
Hey,
What's up, Aaron? Let me turn this up.
You were talking about who's in the finals or how that feels. Actually, the guy.
You're cutting in and out, kind of, bud. What'd you say?
The guy in the final. My senior year.
Oh, Corey Kalina?
Yep, lost to his freshman in the finals. Yeah, I thought that would have been a thing to do.
That is a crazy thing. I've always wondered that myself. Okay, what he said is the guy that Aaron. So for those of you who don't know, this is Aaron Helmrich. He was the 1A 112 state champ in 2001 for North Lynn. He beat a guy named Corey Kalina from Belle Plaine in the finals, who's one of the best guys to never win a state title. Corey Kalina won Tulsa Nationals, like either that year or the year before, like around that time. And he's one of these few guys that can beat. He's one of the few guys that actually did beat Mac Ryder. Yeah. And the thing that separated Corey Kalina from being a state champion and being, a 2-time runner-up like he was North Lynn guys. He got beat by Aaron in the finals at 1A 112 in 2001 when he's a junior. Then the next year, Dan LeClaire won his first of 4 state titles by beating Corey Kalina in the state finals that year.
That'd be a tough draw.
That's a tough North Lynn squad. Tough Belle Plaine squad.
Yeah. They won state that year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like him and Dustin Hinchberger and Kevin Kurofsky, I think, and who else was in there? What's that?
It was tough.
Yes, and they had like a 140 pounder that won it, I think. But yeah. So what went through your head when the Towboy? And it was a wild match that you guys had. There's a lot of like throwing and headlocks and stuff. Like, didn't both of you guys get put on your back at one point?
Yes.
Of the match.
Yeah, I was up 12-0 in back.
Which, to your defense, man, everybody got caught on their back against Corey Kalina.
Yeah. I would.
When that happened, what went through your head? Like, dude, just keep your shoulder up.
Well, I actually did a full figure head hold myself. And,
that's right. They stopped it.
6. Yeah. And +1.
Didn't get pinned.
That's what I was getting pinned.
Right.
It's always nice to have those big leads at first, like right off the shoot, isn't it?
Yep.
Makes it's just nice knowing that you can make a mistake like that and you know it's not your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Just as long as you keep that shoulder up.
Right.
Hey, I wanted to you were talking about Cassie. That next Saturday night, I'm hoping to take some down in Russell.
There you go. That's always been a good tournament. Probably one of my favorite tournaments growing up. You know, you're always gonna get some good competition down there. So.
Yep. And then your faces that are on. Then you know it's easy. It's easy. On it.
Right on. So, Aaron, how are things going at Sergeant Bluff Luton?
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Yeah. Got a good group of guys back. You know, they're ready to work starts and you know, we're ready for football. A lot of them play.
Awesome. Do you think that this experience that you've had there could potentially be used as a stepping stone if you ever wanted to pursue a head coaching job somewhere in the future?
My ultimate goal is to be a head coach. We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah, just kick Koethe out. It's time for him to retire anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. Let me know where I'll land.
There you go.
You know, that's why I got the tired.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Right on. All right. Well, hey, Aaron. Good. It's good to talk with you. I think you're having some connection issues right now with your phone, but would love to have you as a guest here in the near future. Does that sound good?
Oh yeah, sounds good.
All right, man. Keep in touch.
See you guys.
Thanks
See
for
ya,
calling,
man.
dude.
Thanks for calling.
All right. Clippity clop, ploppity plop. All right. Justin Hansen. Aaron won his last 80 matches in a row at Wartburg, one of the best ever in a Wartburg singlet. Marshall loved to watch you at Twin River Valley. Marshall, I think he's saying that he loved to watch you at TRV.
Yep.
You were or are still a stud.
There you go.
It's a
Thank you. I appreciate it.
nice compliment from quite the stud himself.
Right.
It's Hall of Famer Justin Hansen. Need to get that's not all these dudes need to get you as it's like when I start thinking of potential guests to have on this show, my mind conveniently chooses those times to go blank.
You remember these guys are coming from the home of Frank Gotch. Frank,
At TRV?
yeah, TRV, Humboldt.
Yeah, he was an Iowa Hawkeye, wasn't he? After
I don't know if he's a Hawkeye, but he's from Humboldt, Iowa. Frank Gotch.
yeah. I did an article on him and I can't remember it. Nate Toole, my pregnant wife is sleeping. Hey, congratulations. Got a kid coming.
There you go. Finally.
No call in for me tonight, boys, but I enjoyed the show. Wrestling is an awesome way to meet people, and I'm thankful for the Pin Doctors and was thankful to have Koethe as a teammate. He taught me a lot of the slick shit and made everyone on the team better.
Well, thank you.
Oh yeah, man. Dude, I am very thankful for you as well, man. You've supported me from day one, and I will always appreciate that. We'll never forget it. All right. Curtis Smith, SBL alum here, doing great work, Aaron. Very cool. All right, guys. We got this must be a spammer out there, but
Fake profile.
a fake profile. She says she's got hooves.
Oh.
All right, well, I've got okay. I can't relate. I can't relate. That must.
Oh, that's funny.
That. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. And had a great turnout on the show. Like I've been able to watch this entire time to see how many people are actually watching as it goes on. And man, finally the show has picked up some steam. I've noticed, and you know this is kind of a no-brainer, but when I plan it, even loosely plan it, seems to get a little bit better of an outcome or turnout when I do it that way. But
also, I was thinking sometime I want to get on here with a referee and just talk. You guys think that would be an interesting thing to get a referee on here with me and Josh and you guys asking questions about positions and rules and stuff?
that'd be Johnny Johnson would be perfect for that.
Would be a good idea. I always thought, you know, just to go over things and see if people would tune in and try and understand the rules a little better. So
Yeah, ever since I had that talk that I was talking about earlier with Adam Hargrave, where he was like, basically, dude, you're mad at the rule, you're not mad at the official. Like, he called it exactly how he's supposed to. What you don't like here is the rule itself. Anyways, when I had that talk with him, I basically have refrained from saying anything negative about officials if I can help it, if I can control my damn adrenaline sometimes. And yeah, I would benefit from something like that, because Lord knows I'm not ever going to become a certified official, because I couldn't take the heat. I mean, these guys are freaking studs for being able to take the heat. Not that I couldn't take it. It just doesn't sound like very much fun.
No.
I'd be like on edge, about ready to blow up all day on fans and coaches, and it doesn't sound fun to me. I'm a very confrontational person at times. I would love to learn the rules, though. I don't want to be an official. It's just not for me. It wouldn't be a good personality combo. But I'd love to learn more about the rules. It's for damn sure. I think everybody can learn more about the rules. That way there'll be less confusion if there is calls that certain sides don't perceive as being the right ones. All right. I think that about does it. We've well past the 139. Had one call in. Success. Man, you Northwest Iowans, dude. You guys are always checking things out, and I love it, and I appreciate it. Coming from a Southeast Iowan, I definitely need to make my way that way one of these days. One of these days. Just let me, if I collect enough pop cans to where I can afford it.
Yeah, we'll see you guys at State Freestyle and Greco.
When is that?
A couple weeks.
I need to make it there. All right.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. This is a good one.